Hey, it's Andy Fogarty from the AtHomeWelder.com, and I'm here for KingMetals.com, and today I'm going to answer a quick question on which gas to use that can save you a ton of money in the long run. Now, the two most common gases you'll find in just about any garage shop, or most shops anyway, is a tank of either 100% argon or a tank of a 75-25 mix. And then it's 75% argon, 25% carbon dioxide. Now, both have their purposes, both are great gases. I have both here in the shop. But one burns a little bit cleaner, one is actually cheaper than the other, and one is kind of limited in some of the other metals that you can use it for when you're welding. Now, before I tell you which one is which, I'm going to see if you can guess. Now, you wouldn't be able to tell just by looking at the tanks, because there's no differentiating marks and both tanks are always the same colors. The only way you can tell is by looking at the label, and usually on fine print on the label. Alright, so I've grabbed just a piece of scrap I had laying in the shop, and we're going to test these two different gases. So we're going to start with gas, we'll call it gas A, and make a little weld here. Alright, so there's A. Now we've switched over to our second gas, gas B, and we'll run a weld right next to this and we'll see if we can just see a difference by looking at it. Okay, you tell me the difference between those two gases. It's almost impossible to see a difference between just by looking from the surface. So which one do you think is argon and which one do you think is the 75-25 mix? So just by looking at those two welds, you really couldn't tell a difference, could you? If you could, you've got a really sharp eye. But for everyone else, there really wasn't a difference. Not enough of a difference to say, you know what, I shouldn't be using one gas over the other. So with the two being equal, how do you make the best decision on which gas to use for your project? Well, if both gases are going to work great for your project, I would go with the cheaper one. Because in this case, a cheaper gas doesn't mean a lesser gas, a lesser product. It just means that you're being wiser with the money that you're spending on your materials. And let's face it, when you're doing small projects, every little dollar counts, especially when you're trying to make money on some of these things. So why not spend less so you can profit more? Now, which gas was the cheaper one? Well, let's find out. You would think that argon, being 100% pure, would be the more expensive of the two. Actually, it's not. Carbon dioxide and argon mixed, that 75-25 mix, that is the more expensive of the two. Now with the straight argon, the 100% argon, you can also use that on other metals. So if you're going to be ordering some, say, aluminum panels from King, and they don't have those little steel weld tabs on there, you're going to want to go with straight argon because you can use that on both materials. Whereas the 75-25 mix, you can't use that on aluminum. I've seen people try, and it's nasty, and it's just not going to work. I would stay away from it. That's it for this welding quick tip. I'm Andy Fogarty for the AtHomeWelder.com and for KingMetals.com. And hey, if you like this tip and you want to get more, come on over to the At Home Welder, sign up for MIG Welding 101, even if you already know how to weld. But it is going to give you the 5 cornerstones of basic MIG welding to get you started, and you might learn something that you don't know yet. And it's also going to give you access to free tips like this that we send out every week to save you money and just give you some great ideas on some cool stuff to weld. Again, I'm Andy Fogarty, and I will see you again next time.